On the news at 3. Vice President Shettima highlights significance of marriage to social stability, national development. Minority Caucus House of Representatives asks federal government to halt implementation of planned tax laws. Federal government inaugurates advisory committee on micronutrient deficiency. Good afternoon and welcome to the news at 3. I am Catherine Ago. Do you love and care about Rivers State and her peace? Let's build and take her to greater heights. This is the task we must accomplish. You can watch our news live on YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. You can subscribe and click on the notification bell for updates on our live feeds. Now the news in details. Rivers State Deputy Governor Professor Ngozi Odu says building a place of worship is a significant privilege and honor granted by Almighty God, likening it to the biblical accounts of King David and King Solomon. Professor Odu stated this during the dedication service of the Assemblies of God Church Auditorium in Akabuka, Ogba Egbemandoni local government area, commended Dr. Andrew Igwe for his outstanding contribution to the acquisition and construction of the new church building, while praising him for his extensive community development efforts, which include the provision of scholarships and assistance to hundreds of individuals. The Deputy Governor encouraged all attendees to emulate Dr. Igwe's spirit of generosity, stressing that even small contributions towards the work of God are valuable and attract divine blessings. According to her, the newly dedicated church is not merely a structure, but a symbol of hope, unity, spiritual renewal, healing, and a source of blessing and inspiration for the Akabuka community. Professor Odu expressed gratitude to the clergy and strongly urged the congregation to take ownership of the project by watching over it and preserving its beauty for future generations. Housing is a basic necessity of human life. This is why the government at all levels attaches top priority to the development to this important sector. Here in Rivers State, the Governor Siminalayi-led administration has made a significant impact in providing shelter targeted at the low-income earners. In this report, Nnamdi Olumini takes a look at the efforts of Governor Fubara in meeting the shelter needs of residents and people of the state within 2 years of his administration. Take a look.
It is on record that the Rivers State government under the present administration has distinguished herself in the housing sector more than any state government in Nigeria in this political dispensation and still poised to do more. This is evident in the construction of 1,000 housing units, a public-private partnership project known as the Greater Taft City that has been completed and commissioned. Not only that, the Rivers State government recently completed and inaugurated the permanent secretary quarters at Elimbu, an initiative that has been described as first of its kind in the history of Rivers State. Some residents of the state, including civil servants, while reacting to this issue, commended the Rivers State government for achievements recorded so far in the housing sector, but appealed to government to not only sustain the tempo, but expand the housing scheme to accommodate low-income earners, particularly civil servants.
A good development, about the first of its kind in Rivers State. We've never had it so good to have the middle class people, most especially at heart, and then carry out such project and program that they will benefit.
The low-cost housing scheme is a good one. It's a good program of Rivers State government. Our governor, our excellent governor, is doing so well to reduce the sufferings and the pains of civil servants all over the states. I think it will go a long way in helping the serving civil servants and those that are retired in service. I commend him for that.
Head of Federal Civil Service, Esther Wilson-Jack, who spoke on government efforts and commitment to the housing sector, also expressed appreciation to government for the initiative and for giving priority to the plight of civil servants.
The essence of today's event is not the unveiling of physical infrastructures, but the affirmation of values and priorities. Your Excellency, it is obvious that you have made welfare of permanent secretaries a priority, and for this we say thank you.
Others expressed optimism that with increased investment in the housing sector by government and private sector, the issue of exorbitant and arbitrary hike in house rent in Port Harcourt and East Metropolis would be a thing of the past.
We need more of such projects. So if this 1,000 or so, 20,000 or whatever comes on stream, it will accommodate more people. It will also ease the tension in the housing sector. And the landlords will begin to think twice about increasing their rent.
A real estate agent and land developer, East China, said for the first time under the administration of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, all the obstacles hindering the ease of doing business in the land and housing sector has been removed, including late issuance of certificate of occupancy and other documents. He commended Rivers State government for the establishment of the Rivers State Investment Promotion Council that has been working hard to provide a conducive environment for investors in the housing and other sectors.
The new port city, which is a PPP between Rivers State and the Rainbow Heritage Group, has shown that the governor is really interested in housing and is really doing a lot. There's no other government in Nigeria doing 20,000 houses.
It is expected that with the appeals of the people, including civil servants, for the expansion of the housing scheme and the efforts of Rivers State government to attract and collaborate with investors, there is hope that housing for all would be achievable in Rivers State. Nnamdi Olimini, Rstv News.
Putting God first in whatever one does means attracting peace and development. Paramount ruler of Eleleon Kingdom, His Highness Sonny Nweli, made the remarks at the Thanksgiving service organized by the community. Nnamdi Olimini again reports that St. Mark's Anglican Church Eleleon was the venue of the Thanksgiving service.
Ezeweli said they are thanking God for restoring peace and sanity in Eleleon town and for leading them through the year without any form of crisis. He described it as a thing of joy to know that the Eleleon Council of Chiefs and Elders had no recorded deaths this year. The royal father hinted that January 1st, 2026 has been slated for the rededication of Eleleon town to God, which will hold at the playground, and invited all sons, daughters and residents of the community to attend.
On the Thanksgiving today to thank God for the way He led us thus far. He has led us from January to December. Despite the hurdles and ups and downs, it's a thing to give glory to God. My message to everybody is they should keep God first in whatever thing they are doing.
In his message, the curate of St. Mark's Anglican Church, Eleleon Diniwe, Reverend Canon Samuel Fedia, said Thanksgiving is remembering the goodness of God in one's life and commended the king and the people of Eleleon for deeming it necessary to appreciate God for what He has done.
Of the goodness of God upon the land. This land has been peaceful. This land has been safe. Is it thought it fit to come for Thanksgiving, remembering what the Lord has done?
Chairman Eleleon Council of Chiefs Eze Felix Otto, the Secretary Innocent Chidinda, and the Public Relations Officer Simeon Welly commended Eze Welly for providing good governance and restoring peace, while calling on the people and residents of Eleleon to embrace peace and honor such invitations by the paramount ruler.
We see that some of the things that used to befall other communities is not disturbing us. We have been preaching and we are talking about it to embrace peace. Both the indigenous and our strangers, they should embrace peace. We don't want trouble.
They should be interested in the affairs of Eleleon, whether indigenous, whether tenants. As far as you are in Eleleon, you should pray for the peace of Eleleon, and you should contribute your quota or the best you can to make that Eleleon exist in peace.
We are blessed in this community. Our people, both elders, chiefs, whatever, everybody is always cooperating.
Nnamdi Olimini, Rstv News.
Vice President Kashim Shettima has described marital unions as fundamental pillars of Nigeria's social strength and long-term national development. Vice President Shettima stated this in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, where he represented President Bola Tinubu at the solemnization of holy matrimony between Ms. Deborah Eshima and Mr. Samuel Andrakura, son of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. He observed that marriage is not merely a personal milestone, but a social institution that nurtures values essential for national cohesion, stability, and progress. Reflecting on marital union as a powerful metaphor for a deep integration of lives, The Vice President noted that strong family unions contribute directly to long-term national development and cohesion, just as he said the institution of marriage speaks to something deeply Nigerian, deeply human. Shettima commended the families of the couple for raising children grounded in discipline, faith and character, maintaining that strong families do not emerge by accident, but through intentional value formation, while stressing that successful marriages thrive on alignment, patience and humility rather than perfection. He said everyday choices such as listening, forgiveness and mutual support as what sustains homes longer after ceremonies ends. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy Olawale Edun has released and reassured investors, analysts and multilateral partners that Nigeria was not at war, either with itself or any other nation, but was decisively confronting alongside trusted international partners terrorism. This position came in the wake of the recent airstrikes by the United States against terrorist enclaves in Sokoto State. The federal government stated that rather than destabilize markets or weaken confidence, such actions strengthen the foundations of peace, protected productive communities, and reinforced the conditions required for sustainable growth. Edun, who gave the assurances via a statement personally signed, explained that the markets reopened Monday after the Christmas festivities. Investors can be confident that Nigeria remains focused, reform-driven, and committed to stability. He stressed that the U.S. military operation in Nigeria was precise, intelligence-led, and focused exclusively on terrorist elements that threaten innocent lives, national stability, and economic activities. Edun said, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, that Nigeria had made tangible and measurable progress on both security and economic reforms. He said the gains were evident in the macroeconomy performance. The federal government has inaugurated National Advisory Committee on micronutrient deficiency in Nigeria. Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pati, speaking at the 2025 National Micronutrient Conference in Abuja during the weekend, said President Bola Tinubu's administration is determined to move from fragmented nutrition initiatives to a synchronized, evidence-based national response that guarantees adequate nutrition for Nigerians, especially women, children, and vulnerable groups. Conference theme: civil society, academia, and sub-national actors to chart a renewed pathway in addressing what Professor Pati described as a silent but devastating threat to human capital and national productivity. He warned that recent national surveys reveal persistent emissions still to come after the break. Mexico train crash.
My country. Tell me a minute, mommy. Let me confirm. I'm not sure of the exact price.
My good boy.
200.
Oh, okay. My boy.
Yes, sir.
350 naira.
Mommy, they said the handout is just 500 naira.
Well, I'll let your daddy know. Honey, caller says the price of the handout is 3,500 naira.
3,500 naira?
Even me, I'm shocked. It's horrible. What's going on in this country? I don't get it.
This message is brought to you by the Akinfade Fund from the MacArthur Foundation.
By the Minority Leader, OK Chinda, Minority Whip, Right Honorable Ali Issa, JC, Deputy Minority Leader, Right Honorable Aliyu Madaki, and Deputy Minority Whip, Right Honorable George Ozodinobi, called on FG to suspend tax law implementation until investigations are concluded. The House of Representatives members assured that they will ensure that the alleged illegalities in the gazetted tax laws are addressed in the interest of Nigerians. About 34 lawyers nominated for the appointment as judges of the Federal High Court of Nigeria have failed the integrity test for appointment as judicial officers in Nigeria and have been dropped from the race. The 34 legal practitioners are part of the 62 applicants nominated for the bench of the High Court but were shown the way out, owing to various petitions levied against them during the integrity test. The integrity test is part of the new guidelines approved by the National Judicial Council Justice of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere of Health during the integrity test would now face the interview panel of the council, which has been slated for January 2026. 62 applicants passed computer-based test examination conducted by the Federal High Court, consequent upon which their names were forwarded to FJSC. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Y.D. Shaibu, has vowed that Nigerian Army will intensify efforts to tackle emerging security threats while strengthening counterinsurgency operations across the country. General Shaibu disclosed this at the Daban Lerma camp in Edu local government area of Kwara State during a Utah luncheon with troops on the front lines. Speaking during the event, Shaibu, who was represented by the Commander Signals Corps, Major General Mohammed Abdullah, said the Army remained focused on consolidating gains already recorded in various operational theaters and upholding the honor and integrity of the service. Officials said the camp was formerly a base for bandits before they were dislodged by the troops. Abdul Razak, who was represented by the Deputy Governor Kayode Alabi, said success against terrorists, kidnappers, and other bad faith actors lay in unity and effective coordination. The General Officer commanding 2 Division, Major General Nebife, thanked the Chief of Army Staff for the morale-boosting event. The Nigeria Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) has debunked claims that the rise of domestic airfares recorded in December was caused by government taxes, a recurring annual trend linked to festive travel demand. He maintained that the situation was not unique to aviation, pointing out that the transport fares, accommodation prices, and food costs also rise during festive season. And on the foreign scene, at least 13 people died and almost 100 were injured after a train derailed in Mexico's southwestern Oaxaca region. The Mexican Navy said the train, which was traveling between the Gulf of Mexico and the Pacific Ocean, the 8 were injured. Trailblazing filmmakers shattered in conventions, start tackling themes of power, love, ambition, and identity, and audiences responded in droves. This year's most impactful stories were crafted by women who refused to be confined to traditional roles. They dominated cinemas and YouTube, sparked debates on streamlined platforms, and redefined Nollywood's cultural landscape. Let's join Chidebere as she tells us more on the entertainment.
Bold visuals and political undertone have made her a household name. Her Netflix series To Kill a Monkey has become a talking point, showcasing her ability to weave complex narrative that appeals to local and international audience. Omoni Oboli, the storyteller Omoni Oboli's film, have made Nollywood more accessible to viewers worldwide. Her 2025 release, Love in Every Word, have amused over 50 million views, sparking conversations about love, femininity, and wealth in modern Nigeria. Toyin Ibrahim's evolution from actress to box office powerhouse is remarkable.